Hello, everyone. This is a little different ASMR video for you today. Today's video is going to be pretty interesting. We're gonna peel back the veneer a little bit and show you a few things. First thing we're going to show you is this wonderful vintage Walden leather coat. I look pretty badass in it, especially when I put some effects on it. And it's vintage. It's from the 1980s, and it looks wonderful on me. I look really cool in it. It's a duster. It goes all the way down past my knees. Wonderful coat. Great shape. One of the nicest pieces I have. But anyway, tonight I was going to do a new character, and in a way this might be an introduction to that character. His name was going to be, or is going to be in the future, Annex Michaels. Anaximander Michaels. Anaximander Michaels is going to be the grandson of Dr. Andrew Michaels, who you're really familiar with. And he's just a little different. He's going to be a little more sci-fi, a little more, maybe not superhero-ish, but more spy, more, I don't know, Deadly Hands of Kung Fu maybe a little bit. Definitely a different character. And he's going to go back in time to stop people from interfering in the time stream because his grandfather allowed that technology to leak out. Not directly be stolen from him, but people garnered enough information from him to make their own working copies. So it's, basically he's doing a little bit of cleanup act down the road in time. So I hope it's an interesting character, and I hope people like it. He won't be brash or mean but he'll be different. I also like it because I can make all these really cool noises with my leather jacket. So anyway, tonight I put on these sunglasses and this awesome coat. And I was going to film this character. And everything I did tonight went wrong. Every single thing. The FX didn't work. I had so many problems with the sound. I built a plane of glass to do some effects between me and the audience, and I had it down pat. There was no reflection. A plane of glass is very reflective. There was a space for the microphone, but the holder for the glass and everything was blocking the microphone. So the microphone had all of these horrible echoes, and my microphone didn't even pick it up, hardly pick the sound up at all. And the sound from my HD camera had this really weird drone on it, which I'm afraid this is going to have, because my son's running a fan in the basement so he can sleep. And let's see what else. I think they're running the washing machine, and the vibrations of the washing machine, I can't hear them, but the vibrations of the washing machine come up through the basement. And the microphone picks up all of the cycles, so you can hear every bit of the washing cycle. It is so cool when you spend 2 hours setting up a video, and You can hear an entire wash cycle in the background. Yeah, it's really cool. It's really enjoyable. And I have another problem. I think I might be able to conquer that issue. If you'll give me just a moment. My battery for my camera is almost dead. Yeah. My camera was used earlier in the day to film some videos. And the rule of thumb is, when you use a digital camera, you put it back on the charger. And they didn't. So funny. You just let the battery go dead. It's no big deal because nobody, important's going to need it. So hang on. Let me see if I can get this thing plugged in. Save the day. So behind the scenes this is. How exciting can you get? Kicking pops somewhere. Hurry up before this battery goes dead. I don't know if I can reach it. So I got my plug. And extension cord that is. Plugged in. Let's plug in the charger. The thing is, I don't know if this camera, I've never done this before, so I'm not sure if it'll, wait in the chair. I don't know if this will affect it. It may not keep recording. Let me see. Okay, the battery went away. We're still recording. So, maybe we're going to make it today. Maybe we're going to make it through this video. So, now that I've kind of got the angst out, I'd like to talk a little bit about how easy it is to give up. 3 hours is not that long of a time, but 3 hours of work to find out everything you did was basically a waste of time, that can eat at your creativity. But where it starts to get bad is, let's take the creative, making videos and trying to get popular and trying to get viewers. And let's just talk about daily life. And you spend all day on the phone, say with maybe a doctor or therapist. We're talking about everybody, not me in particular. And, you're trying to find a job. You're trying to pay your bills. You're trying to get ahead somehow. And everything goes wrong. All of the time you put into the work of being a human being and trying to get ahead or just live a simple life, just enjoy your life or make your life worth living, it just goes downhill sometimes. Nothing seems to work. It's easy to get frustrated. It is. It's easy to want to give up. And it's easy to feel ashamed or embarrassed. And it's easy to feel foolish. Do you ever think about an old memory, something that at a time you thought was pretty cool about you or something you did in life, and then you look back on it and you feel foolish looking at yourself, thinking about that memory? Maybe like a school dance or a time you were trying to do something in a public eye, and when it was all said and done you felt foolish looking back on it. Maybe you felt like the people you were involved with really weren't taking you seriously, or considered you a serious person. You know, and they didn't realize how important that moment was to you. Maybe a good example is, you know, when you took the time to go to an event for a family member or a friend, and you thought it was pretty important to be there, and then you really kind of distance yourself from that friend, or circumstance took you away from each other, and you kind of realized that that time you thought you were putting all that effort into the friendship, you know, you kind of felt it was a little contrite, maybe one-sided, not used, not abused, not taken advantage of, but maybe how you felt about the friendship wasn't the way they felt about it, and you felt kind of, you know, alone about it, embarrassed. I think I've said embarrassed about 10 times. I think it's important to remember that not everything goes your way, and things can certainly go wrong. Like I said tonight, everything went wrong. My microphone didn't record right. The camera was a mess. I had a screen over top of the glass to keep it from reflecting, you know, so the camera itself was actually enclosed in a blackness, and the lighting was on me. So that part I got perfect, see? So I can look at the microphone didn't work, the camera jiggled out of position, there was a hum in the background, there was some background sounds that ruined it. The mic, you know, like I said, the microphone just was worthless. That recording got thrown out. So all these things went wrong. But I got several things right if I look at it from a different point of view. From a different point of view, I had a perfect piece of glass between me and the camera with no reflection. See, I bumped my camera. And that was a pretty cool feat. You really can't film through glass without there being a reflection unless it's at an angle. This was 90 degrees, and I had it down pretty good. It looked really visually sharp, and I was able to do some things that looked pretty cool and tap the glass and things like that. So if you guys like glass tapping or fingernails tapping on something, you know, let me know, and I'll think about trying it again. So, from a different point of view, I was highly successful in my test video or my attempts. From another point of view, it was a miserable failure because I didn't really get a product that I could even make a small test video to show everybody. I mean, I could show you a little clip here, but it just looks terrible, at least to me. You may not even know what I'm looking at that looks so terrible. I didn't really want to do videos like this, but I thought maybe by putting it out there that it's easy to fail, and it's easy to recognize failure and concentrate on failure. Maybe I could help somebody a little bit. It's easy to want to give up and just say, you know, I just can't do this anymore. And if somebody was to, like, just, you know, put it out there that no matter what you think of somebody, maybe their road is just as hard as the one you're on. And maybe things don't always go your way in life, and that's part of life. But I don't know. I mean, when I got this jacket, a friend of mine kind of picked on me about it, but I noticed he said something. He loved the sounds this coat made when I did a video. He never really said it. but I could tell that the sounds it makes, that the sounds it makes, that the sounds this there you go. He noticed that the sounds that this coat makes seemed very intriguing. They were catchy. They were interesting, compelling. Attention grabbing. You know all I'm doing? Just rocking back and forth on my folded arms. That's leather for you. Leather's amazing. You can do so much with it. To get a good fit with leather is so important. It just doesn't look right. It took a long time to find this coat. It's probably the only one left around from the early 80s of its style and cut and design. I love this coat. It's a wonderful coat. I don't think everybody understands exactly how ASMR works. For some people, this might be such a absolute trigger. But for others, it does absolutely nothing. And I find that so intriguing. I also find it absolutely amazing that there's 5 people in my household and I'm the only one that experiences ASMR triggers. That's fascinating to me. I'm curious if that happens in your household. You know, with your family and friends. I love explaining ASMR to people. Yeah. You just never know what people want to hear and what they don't want to hear. But this is a lot of fun. And though I'm not really feeling any personal triggers right now, I can understand why some people would like this kind of action. Back and forth. I hope this video was interesting to you. I hope you liked it. If you like this kind of character, or the character that I want to develop, you have to let me know. Because like with anything, if you get a very, very poor response, then I might close down the character. But if I get a strong response, I might keep the character around for a while. I know personally, I like soft-spoken videos the most. I like it when people take the time to talk softly and explain their actions and let people know how intent they are on getting their point across and how much joy they bring from bringing pleasure to others. quite interesting sometimes what kind of videos I like versus what I think other people like. So when I'm doing video work, I wonder if as an artist I'm reflecting upon what I would like to see versus what my audience would want to see. Is that the proper way for an artist to approach his work? So far, I think I like the way I'm doing it. If I think it's something I would want to see, then I might be on the right track. Now, the reason I think this is because you have to be true to yourself. And if it's something I want to do and I feel good about doing it, then it's true. It's not fake, and it's not pretentious. I don't want to do that. And that brings up a good point. Recently, I saw the most interesting ASMR video. And I really wanted to be supportive of it and maybe help the person with, backing up their point of view or adding to their point of view. But no matter how I looked at it, anything I was going to do felt pretentious. It felt fake. It felt forced. And then I realized that's not why I'm doing this. I'm doing this because I want to do things that are interesting and cool to me. So if I'm doing something, even if I'm not trying to impress somebody, I'm still doing something to make a political or a stand on something. It felt forced. It didn't feel right at all. And I'd really like to avoid that in the future. That is not something I want to do. So I hope you don't think too ill of me for that. But it just doesn't work for me right now. I mean, it might at a future time. But I think it also comes down to if somebody makes a very powerful artistic statement, the last thing they need is for somebody else to step over it. Let it stand on its own merit. And if it is genuine and well researched and well put forward, then it's going to stand on its own. It doesn't need other interpretations or support or backup or explanation. It's going to be just fine the way it is. It's going to stand. Now, maybe not in a positive note. Maybe some people will think of it negatively, but it will stand on its own merit, good or bad. And it'll be judged that way. I think that's important to remember. So, well, anyway, this video may be a complete blundering flop. It may not even be that interesting. But if you derived some interest from it and pleasure, you liked it, please let me know in the comment section below. I do enjoy it when I read a comment, even one that's maybe negative, because it helps me guide what I do in the future. Some people pointed out that I use some sound effects and some different voice work that interrupted the flow of the video. Now, that was done because of story purposes or, other reasons. And that's generally frowned upon. So we're going to work on avoiding those kind of things in the future so we don't, I don't want to upset your experience. And there's other ways to do that without overtly using sounds that might shock the listener. So, it's not that hard of a thing to take care of. So if you happen to be watching still, and you're one of the people that mentioned this to me, I totally agree with you. With looking back on it, and I really want to work on that. Making it a more pleasurable experience and a more pleasant experience, and work on staying away from sound effects that might jar a person out of their self-imposed meditation. So anyway, I'd like to end this video now. So I thank all of you for joining me tonight. It meant a lot to me, and I hope you have a most blessed day. And in general, please try to do something good for someone this week. Maybe it'll lead to bigger and better things for yourself. Thank you. Bye-bye.